Best of 7.
The first frame.
For a place in the last 8 here in Hong Kong. The winner will play the great John Higgins in the quarterfinals. Barry Hawkins has got back in the top 16 this season. Of course, Shaun Murphy's in danger of dropping out. They've actually crossed over in the rankings. Hawkins 11, Murphy 12 as it stands. But Shaun Murphy's got some big points coming off from the 2-year cycle when he won the Players and Tour Championship. So in the back of his mind, he's certainly trying to ensure a crucible seeding. But if he wins the tournament, then all that takes care of itself.
Does seem rather strange, doesn't it, that Murphy is in a predicament with being outside of the 16 on the list for the Crucible. But of course, it's because of all those points from 2 years ago that they're falling off tournament by tournament from now on. That's the real problem. But you feel he'll get there. Be a setback if he lost here against the ever reliable Barry Hawkins, who did for him in the UK Championship this season.
Yeah, I heard Barry saying that he feels this is his best ever season, although he's not won a tournament. He's been in 2 big finals, looking to reach his 6th quarter-final of the campaign here. Racking up the prize money as well, over 300,000. But has missed that.
Barry Hawkins won.
Yeah, I mean, there'll be people watching. They'll say, hang on, Shaun Murphy won the Masters. Why is he in trouble? But of course, that's not a ranking tournament. You get no points for that. 2 years ago, he won that Players and Tour Championship, and they were for big money, and they're coming off soon on the 2-year cycle.
1.
There's probably no reason why the Masters isn't a ranking event. He's never felt the need to be one, I don't think, that event. But I suppose it could be, given that you don't have wildcards anymore and stuff like that. But it isn't one, never has been.
He'll certainly be in the Players' Championship, looking good for the Tour Championship. So that, you know, there's obviously points that he'll earn there. So I think more likely than not he will be. But he'll be focusing for now on this event and this match. It's a big match in a big venue.
5.
And we know that he likes the big stage. We saw that at Alexandra Palace in January when he really returned to form in fine style, winning that Masters. He said he worried the days of winning tournaments like that were over for him. Very aggressive shot.
Yeah, I mean, he could have worked out better. He's as confident as ever, isn't he, when he's in amongst them. He plays all the big shots. 10. Getting a bit older, 42 years of age now, has not really changed his approach out there. Still plays the big shots, the aggressive shots. I think he has improved in other departments, so I think he's got a tactical and safety game now that will hold his own at the highest level. But clearly, the way he pots is his strength. He's good enough to play safe here.
Shaun Murphy, 10.
They first played many years ago, actually 2001, in the qualifiers for the British Open. Early days on tour for both. Played at the Crucible in the World Championship semi-finals, 2015. Murphy was dominant there, 17-9. But that recent win at York for Hawkins, I'm sure, is in both of their minds. He played really well that day. Of course, he'd beaten O'Sullivan earlier in the tournament. So the winner plays John Higgins, who I thought was brilliant in beating Karen Wilson. I did wonder if there'd be a sort of reaction to the World Open just because of the mental energy needed to win that tournament, but the opposite seems to have happened. He's absolutely loving life again.
One.
Yeah, I think with John, once he got through that match against Ali Carter, which was a bit of a sticky one, you know, Carter played well, could have won it. I suppose that then it was probably less likely, but as you say, he played ever so well today, John Higgins, better than he did up in Yushan, I thought. And there was this suggestion, of course, that he hadn't beaten the top player in Shaun. Factually, that's correct, but he's beaten 2 already here, including the world champion. Oh, no.
Foul.
I mean,
Shaun Murphy 1. Barry Hawkins 6.
He didn't try and hit the pink, he tried to hit the bunch, but to knock the pink in, he's to... I mean, he could be there a long time trying to repeat that shot. Might have just given Hawkins something. These are, you know, best of 7s, relatively short matches. Might have given him an early chance to get a frame on the board, and a bit of bad luck, something that lives with you. And it was unlucky to knock the pink in. I said this yesterday about Barry Hawkins. He's kind of the model pro, really, isn't he? You know, looks after himself. He does and says all the right things. He doesn't complain.
6.
You know, the kind of person that would, you know, relish playing in the Players' Championship in a couple of weeks. He wouldn't not want to be there or anything. And also,
7.
On the table, he's a real sort of polished performer, I think. Now, as he disappointingly
12.
broken down. I suppose if he's going to hit the reds there, to favour the right side would have been better, because the red to the right middle could have been taken even if the bunch didn't open. So the breakers ended there a little disappointingly.
Barry Hawkins 12.
Of course, the stakes go up every round, the prize money goes up every round, but it's still best of 7, and that makes it, I think, quite edgy early on. You've only got to go a couple of frames down and you're in big trouble. Also, it feels. They both know how well the other's playing as well. This is close. It's a bit of an error, really. The red's onto the middle.
Yeah, it really is, Dave. A big mistake, that. Liable to cost him the frame.
One.
And what does he do here? I mean, he could go into the half dozen reds in the middle of the table, but he may just want to have more control over the situation. I completely understand why he didn't play that. He's played on the bottom red, and he's got the backup red anyhow to middle. Does that red go through the gap? Goodness, it might do. He's looked at it once. Playing the red to middle.
Eight.
Well, he played on the pink, but immediately he's gone to a different option, so got himself into a slightly awkward position here. But that cue action saves the day. It's beautifully struck for the bottom red. Be interesting to see what he does about those 6 reds in the middle of the table. I get the feeling there is that one that will go through the gap.
12.
But the others are kind of tying each other up somewhat.
30.
But the angle on the black is suitable to nudge into them if that's what he wants to do. Beautiful cueing again. He's not left himself the easiest continuation
20.
red. But the cue ball really zipped through the bunch. Yeah, you couldn't have seen that shot played any better than that. It's safe to say that, you know, he could have been beaten by Ben Woollaston, who he did make a good,
28.
very decisive break in the deciding frame of that match, but he was pegged out back to 3-all.
29.
And that could have been it.
Yeah, 110, wasn't it, in the decider? As you say, a good finish. Yeah, of course, the man he beat is married to Tatiana here. I'm sure she won't hold it against him, though. She's too professional for that.
I'm just thinking, because had the match gone against Shaun Murphy, it wouldn't have been her refereeing. Because he's not allowed to referee matches involving
37.
her husband, Ben.
Well, the in-off looking like the key moment of this frame now from Hawkins. Red McCullough needed. Standard's been really high today.
44.
Big breaks flying in. Everyone's got over the sort of first round nerves.
He didn't play a brilliant shot there. I know that he should get this, but he shouldn't have to be this far away from the pink. Frame ball. I don't think Murphy's ever been someone that you would say would sort of wilt under pressure. I don't think that's ever been the case with him, with that
50.
cue action, which helps. Even when things were a little bit tough at times during the Masters, the important shots
51.
he went into with a lot of confidence and belief he would get them.
He's one of those players, and there's a lot of them, of course, at the top of the game. When he plays his best, you think, how does he ever lose? But, of course, you can't always play to that level. But when
59.
he does, he's still some player, 20 years on now, of course, from becoming world champion. When that anniversary's coming up in May. 3 finals at the Crucible since then. Just wants to be there this year. If he is, whether he's seeded or a qualifier, he's going to be very, very dangerous, I think.
68. $71.
Of course, he's already won the Players and the Tour Championship. So the World Grand Prix would complete the set. Neal Robertson and Ronnie O'Sullivan, the only players to
75.
have done that, well, that triple crown, we can call it. So the in-off was certainly
Shaun Murphy,
a
75.
big mistake from Hawkins. It gave Murphy the opening, and Shaun Murphy, in his typical assured way, has taken it. He leads 1-0. Shaun Murphy 1-0 in front here. Just to say, I said he hadn't won the World Grand Prix.
Frame.
I meant
Shaun
since it's become the Players Series. He did actually win it in 2016, but the other 2 events were not on the calendar then, just to clear that up. Anyway, frame 2.
Yeah, the in-off was very costly from Hawkins, wasn't it? He tried to get the cue ball in that top left corner. Of course, you kind of know the in-off might happen, but you hope that you just won't be getting the in-off. That was his last shot in the frame.
1.
Great shot there. He had an early chance of his own Hawkins, which he didn't make many from. So he'll need to be fighting back quickly in these short matches, first to 4.
he's already seen something he knew anyway, which is that just one error at this level is likely to cost you a frame. Equally, though, one opening can win you a frame.
Well, that surprised him because he played into the bunch, but the red that was below it, he kind of glanced off of it, so there was no contact with the bunch. He didn't think about that one. Didn't think he was going to hit that red. So now this is a little tricky. Played it nicely. So he'll have to have another stab at the bunch at some point. I don't know whether it will come here. Might be a moment to go into them, although the three reds on the left side of the bunch are kind of away from the rest, so they may not split. He's going to try it. Oh, he's missed them again. Twice now. He's attacked the bunch and not made contact with them.
Yeah, I mean, it was a big target really off the yellow. Be disappointed.
Barry Hawkins, 11.
Well, Murphy, I don't think will be refusing this red unless he's got a better safety option, which he may have. But you know, at his best, he's likely to drill one of these in. I mean, he could play safe off the right-hand red up into that corner where he's standing now. I think they are the two options open to him. I think the problem with the red would have been that with the red close to the black, he wouldn't have been guaranteed position on a difficult shot anyway. So I mentioned that his safety and tactical play seems to have improved. There was an instance where he just used a bit of discretion, didn't want to play the red. Sometimes they're difficult to refuse when you're confident. Well, first look, it appears relatively safe. Yeah. This right-hand red is anything but easy from there. Oh, that's just a magnificent shot. I mean, that's such a good shot. Playing it gently like that. Finding that quite thin angle, it's such a good shot. And it's really created something for him. Opened the door in the frame, I think, for Murphy. Not gone far enough. Yeah. Another ball's width up. He's got absolutely everything there. He's got to play a recovery shot here.
Nine.
No problem.
Brown ball.
Well, as you come in the only place on that side of the table where nothing's easy. Don't know if you can get through to that red to pot it. I tell you, there's not a lot of room on that side where there's any doubt that you're on one. That's amazing to finish in that one spot. This is quite a tight pot. Played it with a trace of right-hand running side.
40.
Try as he might, he could never quite gain position in this visit.
Green ball. Shaun Murphy, 14.
On table 2, it's Hossein Vafai against Yusa. Yusa was in front in that frame, but Vafai has won it. And of course, Yusa has not only got Vafai to think about, he's got the Ding curse, which is a new thing, but it's a strange one, this. Every player this season who's beaten Ding Junhui has lost in the next round of that tournament. Every tournament, apart from the one Ding won, obviously, the International Championship, every tournament, whoever's beaten Ding has lost in the next round. In fact, it was Shaun Murphy in the UK Championship lost to Barry Hawkins. So, can Yusa break that spell today? Well, he's 1-0 down now.
He didn't really get that close to it, and all of a sudden, Barry Hawkins with an opportunity, albeit with pink and black slightly awkwardly placed, which is not going to help him.
One.
So, an opportunity for Hawkins. He scored well this season, 49 centuries as opposed to 32 the whole of last season. He's had a good season. He just obviously
6.
wants to win a trophy. He came so close at the UK, so close in Berlin. He's had deep runs in other events. But would love to win a ranking title. His last was in 2023.
Seven.
Well, this isn't good, though.
This side, Barry.
Yes, Tatiana telling Barry about the rest goes in this side, but he's trying to use it again, I think. He looks like he's going for this, and of course he's hoping that should he miss it, he'll block the pocket off for the red that's close to the pocket. So you'll be playing this with a lot of pace, you'll be dropping it in. That is very unlucky.
Barry Hawkins, 7.
But I understand what he was trying. I must say, when he first hit this, I thought it was going to go in. And we're not seeing pockets quite as generous as we saw in the World Open last week. So the idea was good, but again, Hawkins with the chance, which didn't amount to very much at all. Well, straight away you kind of wonder whether the Reds are going to end up on the right side of the table with the blue blocking off that pocket. It would not be a surprise. Murphy might be trying to get the cue ball in behind the green here. It's a good effort, isn't it? Now, is that touching ball?
Touching ball.
Now, that is a problem for Barry Hawkins because Shaun Murphy he should be able to get it anywhere he likes. It means he can play away from the red. If you're not that familiar with the rules and regulations of snooker, he hasn't got to hit a red. He's deemed to have done so. So he can just push the cue ball down the table, and he'd like to think in behind the green. If it's hard enough, that is. Which it not quite. I think Murphy missed a trick there. I think the one thing he might do on that shot is make sure you hit it hard enough to actually hit the green. That's normally a good way of ensuring you get the pace right, rather than try and drop in behind it.
Foul.
Oh, that was, yeah, I was going to say, that was
Shaun
black.
Murphy,
He hit a lot of the black there, about half ball. How strange. He was confident he could hit the reds, but look how much of the black was hit first. It was nowhere near red first.
Well, if these are going back, it's going to take a while.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be so difficult, wouldn't it, to recreate that shot? Goodness. It would be a very unpleasant business.
Well, Murphy, considering playing himself.
Yeah, amazing, isn't it? I mean, the shot that Hawkins played might, in a roundabout way, give him this chance and help him to win the frame. It was a pretty dreadful shot, actually, his last. But he put it behind him, and like I say, it might work somehow in his favour. Wow, that is so lucky. Goodness me. He played into the bunch.
6.
And he's played the most delicate cannon that he knew nothing of. And it's helped him.
Seven. 13.
Don't know whether Shaun Murphy just felt he could get Hawkins in more trouble, or he didn't want to sort of the 5 or 6 minutes of putting the balls back, but either way, could be costly.
I mean, I just don't think that you could have got the balls back in the right spot. It was such a sort of a narrow margin that he was trying to hit. So many balls moved. But of course, what did happen was a lot worse for Murphy.
20. I
do remember an instance many years ago when I was playing, and it was when the foot miss rule became more stringent. Played a shot and about 15 balls moved. And I didn't necessarily think it would be a miss. The referee, I won't mention who it was, said, "Could you help me put the balls back?" I said, "Well, you decided it was a miss. Do it yourself." I was sitting in the chair. Probably not the right attitude, but that's what I did.
29.
I think it just illustrates, though, the sort of emotional roller coaster of snooker. You know, Hawkins played a bad shot, which could have been costly on another day, and then straight away, next visit, gets this frame-winning chance. You've got to be ready to take it, and we know that he is one of the most level-headed players around, Barry Hawkins.
Yeah, it's an important frame for him because he's looked a little shaky, quite honestly, and even at the start of this break, he got that
43.
dream kiss, and this is the ball to level the scores.
44. $51.
Well, any thoughts of playing on have gone now. Shaun Murphy made that to 75 in the first frame from the Hawkins in off, and then electing not to have the cue ball replaced. Just messed up his own safety to give Hawkins this opening for his own frame-winning break.
56. $58.
Of course, he did win the World Grand Prix back in 2017. Again, that was before the 3-tournament series had been established. But it was a real high-quality display in the final. He made 5 centuries.
61.
Yes, I remember I was working on that event, and alongside Stephen Hendry, he was getting very, very twitchy when he kept knocking in centuries that he might break one of Stephen's records. He's very proud
65.
of his achievements in the game, Stephen. He didn't like people matching or breaking any records. The same when CGOE got to the World Semi-Finals. He was getting a bit nervous that he would become the youngest ever winner.
70.
Yeah, Hendry had 7 centuries in the UK final back in '94 against Ken Doherty.
$76.
Well, he's found his range now, hasn't he, Barry Hawkins, with this break, the way that he's finished the break off.
Yeah, very nicely done.
83 and the frame.
83, the clearance from Barry Hawkins. It's a good game, this. We thought it would be. And it could be very close yet. They're level at 1 each. Last 16 concluded in this night session in Hong Kong. There's our referee, Tatiana Woollaston, who came close to having to...
Thank you, frame 3.
Bit of a nightmare scenario putting balls back. Shaun Murphy elected not to have them put back, but then played a safety that went wrong. He left Hawkins in. Hawkins made 83, and it's 1 each.
This is sometimes what happens with Murphy. You know, he can look $1 million, but ultimately, if 1 or 2 of the pots don't go in, you will see him give chances. And there's another one already for Barry Hawkins.
One.
Two 0 now to Hussain Vafai against Schuster. If Schuster were to lose there, then you just want to look at Ding's name in the draw and just say, I don't want to play him. I don't want to beat him, oddly, because it won't lead to anything, it seems.
9.
Well, he knew he had the plant there, dead set to the corner.
$16.
He might just stay on the black here because he might be able to go into the bunch. It depends on the angle. If it's straight enough, he might just decide to go into the bunch from the black and then open the reds up because the red is on to left corner. But of course, he could go up the table. That's the other thing he could do. Deciding that would be a better option for him.
17.
Now, will the pink go on its spot or in behind? Is the next question. He has to do something to bring this bunch of reds into open places. Yep, not on its spot. But it has to go somewhere, basically. That's what you'd say. Why does it go there? Because it has to be on the table. It's the only place.
$23.
Might have missed a trick, Hawkins, not holding for the black the previous shot. And getting into the reds. And the red he's playing now would have been the red that would have been there for him. And he gone into the bunch from the black.
$24.
I'm not sure how far he's getting with this break. He'll have one more chance to open the reds. It will be from his next red colour. No real angle here to do it. Well, he could have done better in this break. He'll be annoyed.
31.
He's overhit that one quite a lot.
Barry Hawkins, 31.
Very unusual to see Barry Hawkins gesturing there. A couple of examples of waving his arms, not quite directing traffic or anything, but certainly not pleased with a couple of things. Seeing a nice view of the two reds to middle, and Shaun Murphy is on top of it. He's looked at them, which means he can't really play the containing shot. Oh, what a shot that is.
1.
A very expansive shot. He doesn't mind playing them.
Eight.
Overcuts the red. There's been quite a few errors, haven't there,
Murphy, 8.
in this match so far, despite a couple of nice breaks eventually to win frames.
Yes, it was never there, and also I think he felt that if he got close to the pot, the object ball, the red in this case, would wriggle and go along the cushion, but he missed it by far enough and he's left it on. I mean, yes, there have been a few mistakes, as Dave says, but also it seems the balls have then immediately been left to their opponents each time the mistakes have been made.
Five. Six. Brown ball.
And this time, that second chance to get the bunch open, powering this in. This looks good. He's well directed. Surely he's on one, is he? He would deserve to be.
10.
I mean, I don't think you can play this shot any better. Zipped the cue ball into the bunch. The only red he might be on, I think, is the one to the right corner, but I don't think that's available to him. So he's reluctantly going to have to play safe. That was unfortunate.
Shaun Murphy, 10. Foul. Miss. Shaun Murphy, 4.
It's very hard to hit this at the correct angle. It's a very thin shot. Hit too much of the red. The cue ball goes quite close to the right corner pocket, bottom right. That's 2
Miss.
attempts
Shaun Murphy 4.
when he had a clear shot at many reds. So the warning will be administered by Tatiana Woollaston. If he doesn't hit one this time, he'll lose the frame.
All right, okay. Shaun, okay. I have to give you a warning. Call a miss for a third time, you lose the frame.
Well, more than once he's looked at something in that bunch. I couldn't work out what it was he was looking at. Maybe the top red as to whether it goes, because nothing else seems to be lined up to the pocket. Must be the top red. Last time he came to the table, he was looking down the same line. I think he's got an interest in the shot. May have looked a little bit short on pace, that, but I'm sure that's the pace he looked to hit it, so he could block that red off by the bulk colours. Now Shaun is looking at it as well. I think it will go. We're not dead in line with the pocket, but it looks pretty close, doesn't it? As if it would go in if you hit it well.
Just a little standoff in this third frame. Chances have been there, but neither player yet to get into a flow in this frame. Had a couple of frame-winning breaks, as I say, coming after errors in the first two. It's an open table, though, isn't it? You know, the next player in. Well, in fact, Hawkins can get through to this red. I've wondered if it was covered, but he can get through. So a chance.
He puts a slightly awkward bridge sometimes on this shot, Hawkins, but he's normally good at taking the cue ball up the table on these. But that one, he was up straight away and very unhappy about something. I think it was just hitting it offline, basically. He threw his head up in the air. You know, over the years, that's been one of his better shots, but he never threatened the pocket there. Well, I mean, he not exactly got away with it, but I tell you, after the shot Hawkins played, he could have left an easier red than this very thin cut. It's a horrible shot to have to play.
1.
All a bit messy, that last shot. You know,
7.
he's now left the cue ball on the pink spot. Now the pink slightly tied up by the fact that it's been put on the black.
Thank you. 8.
Well, the World Snooker Tour Awards, they don't have Rest Player of the Year. It's a bit niche, but if they did, I think Shaun Murphy would win it this year. I mean, at the Masters,
Yellow ball.
didn't miss a ball with this piece of equipment. Scrap that. He's missed one.
Shaun Murphy, 8.
Well, it's a big surprise when he does miss, especially that shot, which wasn't that difficult. Of course, he could be stripped of it if they were giving him the niche prize of Rest Player of the Year. They might take it back after that shot, mightn't they, and say somebody else should have it.
Well, not Barry Hawkins, it would seem. That was a big chance. The mistakes are there in this match, aren't they? It's, you know, we expect so much of these guys, but it seems quite tense out there.
Yeah, I mean, the conditions are good. At the earlier session today, goodness, there were breaks. John Higgins was really good. Well, years have started with back-to-back hundreds in a match he lost. So the standards
1.
and the conditions are conducive to really good play, but the odd ball here has been missed. It's been quite an open 2.5 frames so far, this match.
Six. 7. 12. 13.
Well, the lead is growing here. 21 points.
18.
Depending on which colours he takes, he might need all 3 reds.
19.
That'll help matters, however, getting on the pink there. So we want to use the scoreboard to his advantage. He had a look over, and
25.
he doesn't have to play to move the red here. If he did need both reds, I think he'd play to pot this, shift the other red out from there. But I think the scoreboard dictates that if he can play on the black, of course, would help. If he plays on the pink, then he could tie.
$26.
He has played to move the red. I'm a little surprised, and he hasn't played it well. Difference is 34, and that'll annoy him. Now the frame is not over, especially this is...
31.
He's faced with an awkward red now. Ah, beautiful.
32.
He gave it every chance, didn't he? He played it fairly gently. Great shot.
Yeah, terrific. Got to be so accurate here. So, looking like 2-1 Murphy.
$37.
A couple of snookers needed to tie. Well, in fact, with the points there, 40 behind. There's no way back here.
37.
For Barry Hawkins. He did have the chance, didn't he? Murphy missed that yellow with the rest. Then Hawkins immediately missed a red with the rest. So there's quite a few errors, but Shaun Murphy happy enough because he's leading here by 2 frames to 1. Barry Hawkins waiting for frame 4 to get underway. He's 2-1 down. I think both players just looking to cut out the little errors that we've seen. But if Shaun Murphy can win this frame, then he becomes a big favourite, doesn't he, to reach the quarter-final. Set up a bit of a mouth-waterer with John Higgins. Just grazes the blue. Murphy playing to reach an 83rd ranking quarter-final. Hawkins a 51st.
Well, miss. Barry Hawkins.
Well, it won't come as any consolation, but he looked ever so close to hitting that to me. Because might have just grazed it on a different day, I suppose.
Back.
It's going back, so he'll no doubt expect to do better this time.
Can we please check the distance? Excuse me. Can you? Thank you.
She's asking Ivy Zhu, the marker, to help. I think someone stood in the way, which doesn't necessarily help. There's Ivy. She's actually refereed a maximum, hasn't she, at the Crucible Stephen Hendry's in 2012 against Stuart Bingham.
Yeah, Shaun. This is not the right picture.
Well, that doesn't help if it's the wrong picture. What are they showing in that case?
Yeah, yeah. Because yeah.
It's one of these shots, I don't think it... I know it sounds odd to say, I don't think it matters greatly about the cue ball. He's going to play the same shot or attempt the same shot. He could get to the edge of it. So if it was out by a small amount, I honestly don't think it would matter that much on this shot.
Now, the thing was, though, he did say there, I could see it full ball, which obviously would have been, had he missed a second time, that would have been significant anyway. He's caught a good piece of it there. Of course, playing 2 best-of-7s from 7:30 local time. You're inviting a late night. It was 1:30 last night. Of course, the day one there was that curfew. Everyone had to leave, but thankfully that was resolved. And actually, the venue now is laying on shuttle buses. The curfew was to do with public transport stopping at midnight, but thankfully, a sensible decision has come about, and the fans can stay as long as they want to.
Well, he could see that he wasn't overly confident about the pot there, given that he sent the cue ball right up the table. Yeah, I mean, these two have not played as well as we might have expected in these frames. I guess best of 7 short format with a lot at stake. You know, it's a match they'd both dearly love to win. Doesn't always mean you'll bring out the best snooker in each other. Murphy cannot refuse this red. The right corner.
One. Six. Seven.
Just about crept in, but the cue ball still did the rounds. It got past the blue. Just a little bit awkward around the black spot. Yeah, a real opportunity here, I suppose, to extend his lead. But as I say, there's some work to do to make the colours available, high-value colours. He didn't mean to hit that red on the way through.
13.
He tried to screw back directly and missed the red. But I think on these cloths with a real sheen to them, what happens is the screw does not take straight away, so the ball kind of goes sideways and then back.
Brown ball. Shaun Murphy, 13.
Just about hard enough. The players would probably like to target that area in and behind the brown if they can. Not sure whether Murphy can actually get there from this shot very easily. If he could, he would. Oh dear, that's the worst outcome imaginable on that shot. And it was coming sort of quite an acute angle down that right cushion. He hit a lot of the bump to send it right across the table, that cue ball. Can he bring the black into play here? Oh, he's trying to bring everything into play by the looks of it. Demolish the bunch of reds. So he chanced his arm there, Murphy, and that's what he kind of likes to do, and it's always good to watch him when he plays those kind of shots. Could be a lot of forensic approach to snooker from certain players, but Murphy doesn't really go down that route. He likes to
6.
Chance his arm a little bit, and sometimes it works.
It's interesting, the different sort of chat from Shaun and Neal Robertson. They're both in the same boat with the Crucible not guaranteed to be there. Shaun has said, he was at the World Open last week saying, it's in my thoughts, I really want to make sure I'm seeded there. Yesterday, Neal Robertson was sort of saying the opposite. He said, well, you know, these days the qualifiers are so good, maybe it's an advantage to be a qualifier. Of course, you've got to get there first, that's the problem. Because the seeds are under pressure in round 1 with the rankings. Problem is he didn't qualify last year.
I don't think it's an advantage to be a qualifier. Yes, you do have those points in the bag, but you're playing a seeded player when you get there. So I can't really see how he can say that.
11.
No, I think snooker plays like anybody. Sometimes you tell yourselves the things you sort of want to hear. But listen, however they get there, if they do, they'll both enhance the event and they could both win the event. Shaun Murphy in particular, I think if he is there, goes there this year with real confidence and will be a real threat.
Talking about Neal Robertson, I remember the year he was champion 2010, and the next year, day 1, who did he have to play? Judd Trump,
70.
Who was coming through and had just won the China Open, you know, the couple of weeks leading up to it. So that was not the draw you'd
18.
like. And of course he did for Neal Robertson, and he was out on the first day.
The fact that Murphy and Robertson are in the Players' Championship and most likely the Tour Championship suggests they will be seeded there. It's I know we talk about it a lot, but it's in the players' thoughts as well, for sure.
$24. $25.
Yes, black has not been available throughout this break, but he's doing all right with the pink and the blue. So lead is now 40 points and counting. He'll need at least 4 reds actually he'll need from here.
32.
Suppose if he takes high value colours, you can just about get it one with reds and pinks without the use of pulling what will be the 4th last red.
38.
But you'd have to stay on the pink for that to happen.
39.
So I can afford to go for the blue
45.
once if he wishes. But then, as I say, I think the red after this one that's potted, after, followed by the colour, of course. You know, the next red absolutely seals what is a handy lead here in a best of 7. At the moment, it is 1 snooker.
Yeah, it's been edgy at times this match, but Murphy has looked the more confident. Certainly, you know, the shot he played to get everything into play. Classic Murphy, really. Oh, but that red's not in. He needed that, really, just to kill things off. One snooker, as you say.
It looks pretty simple, doesn't it, from the replay? I suppose there was a little bit of difficulty, but it wasn't that awkward a shot, quite honestly.
1. Seven. Barry Hawkins.
Well, of course, usually down to 1 red is the plan on these shots. Unlucky not to get the snooker, however. Very rarely would you see a player, when needing a snooker on reds, try and get them until basically there's only 1 red to hit when the snooker's laid, I suppose. The free ball aspect of it and all that, but that doesn't apply here unless he takes low value colours with the 2 reds. It's not impossible that he could win this frame, you know. Get left a chance like this, it could get interesting now. A couple of reds and maybe pinks. The red by the black will be a great snookering ball. I think Barry had resigned himself to have lost it. Now if he can just shake himself up here, he's got an opportunity. 2 reds and big colours, and then a snooker. 53 behind, 51 on.
One.
Well, he decided, interestingly, to play on the black there, which I don't think he really had to do. And he's made it a little difficult for himself here to hold for the next red. Done well.
Eight. Nine.
Well, he can afford to take pink to middle if he wants to, and then the snooker is easier to get, perhaps. Yeah, I think if he takes pink to middle or black and screws back across to there. In the ideal world here, what he would do, he'd obviously get the snooker behind the black. If you could bury the red in behind the
60.
brown or something like that, it could be deeply unpleasant, this snooker. But it's got to be played well. Not able to
Barry
get
Hawkins, 16.
the red across the table, but has he even stopped the 1 cushion escape? I'm not sure he has.
Foul. Barry Hawkins, 4.
There you go then. Shaun Murphy had that red, didn't he, to right middle, which would have killed the frame off once and for all. Now Barry Hawkins can win the frame. Massive moment this in the match.
It's any consolation at all for Murphy is that, of course, there's no miss will be called because it was a snooker's acquired, so at least it doesn't go back and has to be played again. Oh, he's got a chance to redeem himself here by knocking this long red in.
Yeah, nicely done. And relief from Murphy. Back to Snooker's required, but he's on this pink, so 3-1 beckons. And a meeting with John Higgins in the quarterfinals beckons, one of Murphy's victims en route to becoming world champion 20 years ago now.
Nine.
Yeah, she turned pro in 1998, Shaun, just a month or so after Higgins won that first world title. They're all still going strong, aren't they, these greats of the game? And Shaun Murphy moves close to a meeting with the Wizard of Wishaw. He leads Barry Hawkins 3-1.
Frame 5.
So,
Barry Hawkins to break.
Barry Hawkins fighting to stay in this World Grand Prix, needs to cut out all errors now. There have been a few from both players, but Shaun Murphy has made fewer of them, I guess. It's 3-1 to him. And he needs one more for a place in the quarterfinals. Would be his 6th quarterfinal this season in a ranking event. You can see Hawkins sort of willing that cue ball somewhere towards the cushion.
I know, because leaving this long red, you know, I mean, obviously these are not easy, but it opens the door if these go in.
One.
The break-off is meant to be an advantage, but it isn't always the case. You leave that red on against someone like Murphy, you might have played your last shot. It's just a fraction close to the brown ball. He's nominated, he might be touching the brown, so he has to nominate his colour. You could have nominated brown, of course, if it is touching. Either way, that's not fallen too badly. Red to middle, hard to control the cue ball. Dream shot here. If he screws the red in and gets on the black to the right corner, he could be away. But that's not an easy shot to play. Don't even think he's on. Goodness me, there's him chancing his arm again.
Shaun Murphy 4.
He doesn't mind rolling the dice, if you like.
No, I mean, it's an admirable quality to always try and, you know, get in and kill matches off, but didn't get the red. So Barry Hawkins has some sort of chance just to get back into this match. He had quite a few openings, hasn't he, in all the frames, but as I say, he needs to now cut out all errors. In general, we know he's playing well. He's had a really good season. You know, but for the odd frame here and there, he could have been UK champion. He could have been certainly German Masters champion. Lost narrowly in those two finals. Had a good run last week at the World Open as well. Got to the quarterfinals, lost in a decider to Ali Carter. And his ranking is not an issue. You know, he, of course, had to get back into the top 16, which he did. He'll be at the Crucible as a seed.
Seven. Eight.
Well, again, he's either overhitting or underhitting. Earlier on, he put his arms up in the air when he misjudged a shot. He overhit. This time, he's gone the other way, slightly short of his required position, which means his next red is not a straightforward one. Drop this in and play one at mid-range. Take advantage of the fact there's a left-hander for this next shot. If he can still reach it, that is.
13.
Just. Not easy.
Well, snooker can be too much for some people, I guess. Got to pace yourself.
Barry Hawkins, 40.
Once again, Barry is not really punishing Shaun in this match. You know, chances have come his way and he's not taking them. And this is another red up into the yellow pocket I think Murphy might play. As we see it again. If he can, and he can pop the red into the yellow pocket, screw back to the bottom cushion here, beyond the blue. He doesn't very often refuse opportunities of this kind, so he's playing this red, screwing right back behind the black. And that was also very close. Just prioritising covering the reds in and around the black, leaving the red up the table exposed, but not that Murphy can do a great deal with that red.
Just a reminder of the head tag coming in. It was 10-5 Murphy, but interestingly, Hawkins wins 3 at the Masters, 2 at the UK Championship. So all these wins over Murphy at 2 of our biggest events.
Well, that's a pretty good shot. There may be just a little bit of a red sticking out to the right of the pink as we look. ended up hitting quite a lot of that red, actually, and he's a little nervous moment, not quite knowing where all the reds were going to end up there. Because, of course, he's got his back to the wall now, Hawkins. You know, his next mistake could easily be his last.
One. Yellow ball. Shaun Murphy won.
Well, if that is a snooker, it's given Barry Hawkins a problem here. I don't know if he can get to the edge of a ball. Tatiana already sizing it up, the cue ball, as to where it is if it has to be replaced. And the reason I say that is he can't necessarily roll to the cushion where the two reds are, because if he got that shot wrong, he would leave the right-hand red. That's what he's worried about. Trying to roll up to one of the two reds and possibly leaving the other red. And what he wouldn't want is to double kiss the red. So I think he's playing across onto the bottom two. But this is dangerous.
Well, the miss. Shaun Murphy 4.
Must have got ever so close to hitting it. Tatiana was bang on the spot though as ever. Whether he's going back or not, I think so. But it's still a dangerous shot, this, isn't it? If he hits it any harder and double kisses the red, he might leave the other one on. To land it where he wants to, very difficult.
Shaun, thank you. Foul, no miss.
Wow, that's
Shaun
close, isn't
Murphy
it?
4.
Because the other thing, I don't know whether the left-hand red goes along the cushion and then he could pot the blue straight after. I mean, that would surely be something he couldn't resist. I don't know quite how these last two shots have not made contact with the red, quite honestly.
Okay, Shaun, thank you.
Now, this is the thing, as he left that red, because if he can roll that red past the blue and then the blue, well, maybe both reds go, but the bottom one looks to be on. The more you look at that shot that Barry faced there, I'm not sure how he could have kept everything safe. You know, either leaving red to the right corner, the thin one, or the red down the cushion. He was in big trouble. It might be the beginning of the end of the match.
6.
Murphy with a gilt-edged chance now.
Seven.
Yeah, he's been the better player. They both made errors, but Shaun Murphy has just looked more assured in this sort of situation. You never know how you're going to play from day to day. We've seen players struggle and then go and play lights out. We've seen the opposite. The players who win most tournaments, they just find a way
14.
of winning round after round and then, I guess, raising their game at the end. I think if Murphy does come through, he would feel, if he watched John Higgins earlier against Karen Wilson, that he would have to perhaps raise his game tomorrow. But first things first, get the win here.
22. 23.
'A little bit of a consideration here about getting onto his next colour. Pink to
30.
middle. Now the low red, I think, into the left corner. So try and take the keyboard down behind the black. And the whole thing coming together nicely for Murphy. 35 the lead.
36.
Certainly 2 reds and colours would seal the match.
$37.
So this really seems to be the shot. Cue ball down the left side. The red above the black goes to the right corner. This is the shot. And it's always that last piece of the jigsaw, isn't it?
37.
That wins you the match. You'll be furious. But look where the pink's gone. It's gone in the way of the red.
It's been that sort of match, though, hasn't it? Not as clinical as some of the others he would have won this season. But yeah, like you say, that's the result.
It's an amazing game, isn't it? You can make a mistake like that, and the one place the pink can go on the whole table is in line with the only red that's potable. Well, I would not be surprised to see Murphy have a flash at this long red. Murphy has played the better of the two, but he's definitely getting a little bit of luck. That last shot, I mean, how's he virtually snookered on everything? The bump of the middle pocket has come to save Murphy there. A little wry smile as he left the red as a thin cut. He's not sure, and he's not sure what to... He's looking for a read off of Shaun Murphy. I think he'll cut in, but it is clearly very thin.
One.
So it'll be 40 in front if he takes the green, and he's got a real big target here. It's either you could hit anything on that side except for the pink. You could even hit the black. I think it might give you a shot at the red, but probably the middle ball of those, the right-hand red, is the one he'd like to make contact with. In fact, he's played to leave a guaranteed shot at the top red.
4.
Yep. Match ball.
5.
Yeah, lovely shot to win it, actually. It's not been the cleanest kill. There's been errors, but it doesn't matter if you win. Come back tomorrow, try and raise your game. As I said, he'll have to, I think, if John Higgins can replicate the performance against Karen Wilson. It's going to be a bit of a blockbuster quarter-final, isn't it?
12.
Between two world champions, John Higgins and Shaun Murphy. And
30.
in fact, so far, all 4 winners today have been world champions. Stuart Bingham and Neal Robertson also into the last 8. Judd Trump, of course, already there. Mark Selby still to come. There could be 6 of them in the last 8.
18.
Barry Hawkins, I think, will be disappointed with the performance. He has had chances. Just wasn't to be.
Shaun Murphy, 18.
And it's Shaun Murphy
Frame the match.
who progresses to the quarterfinals here in Hong Kong. You can see the disappointment there from Hawkins, as I say, the performance more really than the result, I think. But Murphy salutes the fans here at the Kai Tak Arena. He is the winner by 4 frames to 1.